Welcome back to another episode of Cappuccino Chat. This time, we're going to talk about AI and are you sure you know what your employees are entering into it? All right, so this time we're going to talk about if you understand and are aware of the type of data that your employees are possibly entering into these AI engines like ChatGPT to produce the reports, the marketing material, whatever it might be, the graphics, videos, etc., that you're requesting them to make for you. Because a recent study found that 8.5% um, contained sensitive data that was entered into these different AI engines that they looked at. Now, of that 8.5%, 40 over 45% was customer data, and 27% of it was made up of employee data. Now, that means there's some very sensitive data being fed into these AI engines. And the AI engines aren't completely, segmented, if you will. Now, there are ways of doing it, and they say they're doing it, but we all know data is king. And the more data they have, the better they can sell that data for your shopping habits and things of that nature. Google's been doing it. Microsoft's been doing it forever, even though they told everybody they were not. So again, be careful of what's being entered and how it's being entered. If it's not being entered in a proper way, it can definitely be made public accidentally, because then the AI engine will use that data when the next person asks a question about a similar situation, a similar question, asking for similar results. Your data could be then returned back to somebody completely different. And I'm not sure that everybody understands how that's working. So you want to make sure that there's some kind of monitoring that's going on. Now, that's going to have to be done mainly with policies and procedures on how things are done, and then spot checking work to ensure that this data is not put up. Right now, there are no safeguards set in place by anything to limit the type of data that can be fed into the AI engine. So the only way these AI engines can produce the information we're asking it for is if we give it enough data. So if you're being very specific in what you're wanting related to your business, related to your customers, and you're feeding it that data to be very specific, then you are in danger of that data leaking. So we got to be very careful. Now, we don't want to be putting, your employees at risk, your clients at risk when that data does get leaked. So that's why I'm bringing this up to everyone's attention. We've been playing with AI now for a while in the marketing space, creating different things so that we can create better marketing material, videos, postcards, newsletters, articles of some kind, and just make sure that we're talking to our clients and prospects in the proper way and giving them data that's relevant to them. Great use of AI engines. But we have to be careful about what data we're feeding in. I'm not feeding in my client list. I'm not feeding in my prospect list. I'm not saying, hey, analyze all these businesses and give me three commonalities amongst them, right? You got to be careful with that. Would I like that data? Of course I would. But we have to be careful in uploading that data. So if you allow AI in your business, you need to make sure you're educating your employees to be mindful of the data that they're sending it. The other issue is a lot of this data, and I've said it before with AI, is it's a guessing game. So it's going to fill in the gaps that it's not quite sure of. If you don't give it enough data, or if enough data is not available, it will guess based on statistics in the past. So if something was 51% true in the past and it can't predict what you're looking for with the data that it's got, it's just going to lean on the side of what the 51% was, whether it be true or not true. So we need to be careful. Now, if you decide that you don't want AI used in your business at all, these are things that we or whoever is taking care of your IT department can control and lock down so that those AI engines are not accessible from your work network, from your business computers. And if that's something you want to do to ensure that that's not being used, please reach out to whomever that may be, either us or your current IT people, IT department, whatever the case might be. Make sure you reach out to them and say, hey, I don't want my employees using these AI engines right now until I get a better understanding of it. please lock it down and get rid of it, or just limit access to it. Maybe there's only one or two people in your business that need access to those AI engines. Let's reduce that risk footprint of that data possibly being given to the AI engines and causing a compromise or harm to your clients and or employees. All right, as always, if you have any questions related to what we just talked about being AI, please feel free to reach out to us at 760-770-5200.